We're going to look at today is the feature of masks inside of Illustrator. Now, masks don't work the same way that they do in, for example, Photoshop, but they're pretty cool nonetheless. So let's say I have these two shapes here, or these items. I have these lines here, and let's say I wanted to get these lines into the circle. Well, I don't necessarily need to divide them or cut them, which I could, but I'm going to use Illustrator's handy mask feature to do that. And in order for this to work, the mask needs to sit on top. So I'm just switching it to a fill just to show you how it works. So I'm going to select all of these here, right? So I have all my lines selected and my circle selected. I'm going to go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make. And you can see it made a clipping mask off of that. Now, if I wanted to go in and edit those lines, it becomes somewhat difficult. I can select the outside of that, I can double click on it, and I get into the mode, and I could select each one of these individuals. But let's say I wanted to select a whole bunch of them. Oh, all of a sudden now I'm selecting that and the circle and all that. So a way to get around that is to go to Object, Clipping Mask, Edit Contents, and it'll select all the contents that are actually in there. So now I could go in and change the color. And there we go. If I decided, no, I don't want that, I'm going to go to Object, Clipping Mask, Release, and it releases it. Now, the only bad thing about that is you can see it releases that circle or the shape, whatever you had, but it becomes very hard to find where it is. So if you're ever in that situation, select all, whatever the contents is, lock it, and then select it, and there's your circle. Okay, let's move on to the idea of a picture, right? So I place this picture in. I'm going to select it in the same way, go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make, and there's my object, circle, whatever, inside of the shape that I created. You may be saying to yourself, David, does it work with other objects and not just solid objects? Yes, if I have drawn an object, at least I believe it works. Let's try this. I'm going to draw an object. There we go. Let's take that and switch it into a shape. There we go. Object, Clipping Mask, Make, or Command 7, and there it is inside of that shape. Now I could edit this shape if I wanted to. It would let me. Right? And you can see the clipping mask works just the same. So that's a little bit about working with clipping masks.